I'm going to dig into encapsulation a little bit deeper and how it will actually apply in our project. Encapsulation is the idea that mechanics are isolated into distinct cells of mechanical operation with defined integration endpoints. So, as we're building out the Clone Royale project, we want to make sure that we know what interacts with what. What I'm going to do is show you a diagram that includes buildings, combat interfaces, and unit prefabs, and how they are going to be designed to interlink. What we have here is a unit prefab that is broken up into three distinct components. You have a unit AI that is the base script for controlling how the AI functions. Unit combat, which is the receptive element of the combat interface on unit prefabs. And the unit animator, which handles all of the functionality related to animating the 3D model. We have the bullet prefab, which is a combat interface from unit to unit and unit to building, and potentially, if we build a tower, from buildings to units. This is something that is a standalone interface between everything that can give and take damage. The way that this works is the unit AI contains a reference to the bullet's prefab as a game object and knows nothing more. During the attack, it will create a bullet prefab and send it on its way towards the enemy. This combat interface, then, all it does is upon entering a trigger or a collider, it will check if it's a building or a unit and make sure that it's not on the same faction. If it is, it will hit the target, in which case it will call a function to hit the target, and depending on if it's a unit or a building, it will call that appropriate take damage. At this point, the bullet is done, it lets go, and it allows the unit combat to take damage and die as it is appropriately scripted, and likewise, the building will appropriately take damage and die. The bullet doesn't need to know what happens to the building, it doesn't need to know what happens to the unit. It just informs them that they have taken damage, and the bullet will very likely just destroy itself. Additionally, because the unit prefab is a very complex system of encapsulated mechanics, these are allowed to know about each other in a more intimate way. For example, the unit combat, when the player dies, could call a function on unit AI and let it know that this unit has died. Take the appropriate scripts. The AI will probably control everything from the animator to when the unit actually disappears from the combat field. Likewise, the building, as we talked about before, is going to be responsible for what happens to the building animation wise, as well as is this the end of the game or not. All of these interact through very defined endpoints. The bullet is spawned by the attack function. The bullet will hit the target and call take damage functions, and there will be no other interactions between these scripts. This is how you truly achieve encapsulation, and it's how we are going to be structuring our project as we go forward. So pay attention for this during future lessons.